Hey guys, I'm Tyler and you're watching the first video of my new channel, Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm starting this channel as a place to share some of my ideas and techniques related to emergency preparedness with friends, family, and whoever wants to watch. I really hope this will be helpful for someone. Let's talk about prepping. This is my first video, so I just want to discuss the topic of prepping. It's a subject that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and one of my hopes is to make it a more common and simple subject for everybody. I consider prepping to be anything that someone does to prepare for the future. This could be things as mundane as keeping an umbrella in case of rain, or a flashlight in case of a power outage, or things more complex like preparing for a food or health crisis. I also realize that most people will relate prepping with doomsday preppers, or conspiracy theorists, people who think that there will be a plague or artificial intelligence takeover, or other extreme event that will threaten their lives. Now, while these situations are theoretically possible, most of us don't necessarily see them as reasons to prepare now. Now, these people receive the most publicity, but they're by no means representative of the prepping community as a whole. There are a lot of people that we may consider more regular who prepare for emergencies now. Let's take a look at some of these people. One good example would be members of the Church of Latter-day Saints. You may recognize these people as Mormons. The Church of Latter-day Saints strongly advises its members to keep a good supply of food and other necessities on hand in case of an emergency. Another commonplace prepper is the homesteader or sustainable living individual. Whether they've been living this way for generations or they've only recently picked up the practice, people who live within their own footprint are less reliable on the global distribution network than the rest of us. People who have already lived through emergencies sometimes have a higher tendency to prepare for future emergencies because they know what it's like to not necessarily have food or water readily available to them. This next one may seem obvious, but the government is the biggest prepper among us all. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, is a federal agency specifically set up to aid the public and government in case of disaster. But the government isn't the only entity in the public eye that has been seen prepping lately. The rich and famous can be seen purchasing bunkers and islands, and while it's easy to write them off as eccentric, it's definitely notable when the billionaire CEO of a global distribution network receives laser eye surgery and jokes about it being because glasses might not always be available. So that's a pretty wide range of topics to cover. I just went from umbrellas to bunkers. But what do you as an individual need to think about when it comes to prepping? I like to boil it down to three basic starting points. What are you prepping for? Who are you prepping for? And what do you have to prep with? First, what are you prepping for? It's far too overwhelming to prepare for every potential threat, and so it's simpler to simply ensure all of your needs. The basic needs that everybody shares are air, shelter, water, and food, in that order of importance. This is where number two comes in. Do you only need to provide for your own needs, for those of yourself and a significant other, or are you providing for the needs of your entire family group? And this is where number three becomes important. What do you have to prepare with? Take stock of your resources. What is your budget? What kind of space do you have available? Also, don't forget that your mindset is your most important resource in preparedness. At a fundamental level, I think of prepping as worrying about the future in a productive fashion. We all worry about the future, but how we worry about it and what we do about those things that we worry about will have a profound impact on our future experiences. Now, prepping is a very broad concept, far too broad for me to ever feel like I could overview it in just one video, which is why I hope to make a lot more videos, both discussion and skill-based, in the future. Thank you for bearing with me through this one, and hopefully you'll stay tuned with Let's Talk About Prepping for future content.